Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Tell you a funny story. True story. Once there was a Smalley Sahib who was doing Imamat in a masjid. So his beard had gone white. So he used to put mehndi on his beard. Yeah? It's sunnah. So one day he noticed that the mehndi had been a long time and then the whites were appearing a lot. So he said to his wife, "Can you get me some mehndi when you go shopping?" She goes, "Okay." Then she forgot. When he asked her, she goes, "Oh, I forgot, so get it next time." So 2-3 times she forgot. And then when he asked her, she said that, yeah, I've got it. So he said, "Okay, now make it for me." So then that evening, after Isha, she brings that paste. And he goes, "Okay, let me get ready." So he got his, whatever he used to put on his apron or whatever. And then she applied it. And as she was applying it, she goes, by the way, because he had a weird smell. So he goes, "I gave him mehndi." So she goes, "You're not mehndi." She goes, "I saw on YouTube." Yeah? On YouTube, you got all this crazy stuff in it. So I've seen this thing on YouTube. Inti baal kara thai. So he goes, "Ali, where did you get it from?" She goes, "I made it." So he's like, thinking, well. So now she's applying it. So give it to her. She goes, "Kanda is kanda, as in onions. Tina kara karwana, ne badam ne kara karwani, you burn it." And she goes, "I've made this, yeah." He goes, "No wonder it stings." Anyway, she applied it. And then she goes to him, like, leave it on as you usually do with mehndi and let it dry, I think. So before he went to sleep, a few hours later, he went to wash it off. And as he washed it off, he saw that his beard had gone black. But as he's washing it off, his hands are going black as well. Yeah? So he had a lot of trouble washing it off, and then his towel went black as well. Yeah? Anyway. So then his wife comes and she goes, "Oh, mashallah, I told Bud Zabardast, this is better than mehndi. You got proper black or brown or whatever, yeah?" Anyway, so next day after Fajr, when he looked, he saw that it wasn't as black as before. Then after Zahar, when he'd done wuzu, and then he noticed. So now when he's stroking his beard, he's realizing that the colour's coming off. It all looked very good. It was coming off. In Hunkiwai, Kacho color. The color wasn't permanent. Yeah? So although it looked very good, it was washing off. So then the next day he had Jummah Bayan. So this Malik Sahib, he had a habit in his Bayan of stroking his beard. Yeah? So subconsciously, inadvertently, as he's doing the Bayan, he's stroking his beard. And as he's stroking his beard, he looks down and he sees, "Allah, my hands are going black." Yeah? And now, afterwards, people said to him, "What's up to me? Are they for money?" Yeah? Because his mind was all occupied with that. Allah, something, hope nobody notices. And the guy sitting in front of him, proper staring at him, because the guy had noticed. Allah, what's up to him? Anyway, Masab led Jummah namaz. And that day, after Jummah namaz, in the dua, silently, he did lanat on YouTube, or lanat on all these liars on YouTube that make me these fake videos. Huh? So what's the moral of the story? It looked good. It looked better than mehndi. It did the job perfectly. But because it was kacho color, within a few days, and every time Maulik Sahib stroking his beard, his hands are going blacker and his beard is going whiter. Yes? In the same way, Allah Ta'ala says, "Sibghat Allah, wa man ahsana min Allahi sibgha." The color of Allah. Hafiz Patel Sahib Rahmatullah used to say, "Apne aap ko Allah ke rang mein rang do." Color your heart, color yourselves in the color of Allah. Become saturated in the love of Allah, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Deen, Islam, which is what the Sahaba Kiram were. They were not like us, kacho rang. Yeah? We all talk the talk, walk the walk on the face of it. But really, kacho as anything. Whenever a test comes, our Imaan exposes itself. Person all year round doesn't miss Fajr namaz and all that. Boxing Day sales, yeah, gone. Where is it gone? Sale, yeah. Family wedding, Haji साहब तमें एक week ते देखा नहीं कितने गेला होता. या ना घर में शादी होती. तुम्हारी नमाज, और तो चल पसी कज़ा कर लो. Yeah, which means that we're not as grounded on our deen as we claim we to be. And we know the Sahaba Kiram, how grounded they were, how immersed they were on the deen, and how powerful their color was, that it wasn't going to get washed off, to the extent that the son of Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala says to him that on the day of the Battle of Badr, "Oh my father, I saw you, I was a non-Muslim, I was fighting on the side of the non-Muslims, I saw you, and I pulled my sword back as well to attack, but then I realized, oh, that's my dad. So then I spared you, I went and attacked someone else." Happened quite a few times. The son is saying to Abu Bakr radiallahu. Abu Bakr radiallahu was fully saturated in the love of Allah, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Islam. What did he say? "Oh my son, I didn't see you that day. If I would have seen you once, you would be no more. I would have dispatched you." Why? Because on that day you were not my son. You're claiming that I'm your father, that's why you spared me. For me, in my eyes, you are not my son. You are the enemy of my Allah, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Deen Islam. Khalid bin Sa'id radiallahu ta'ala becomes a Muslim. His father beats him up, throws him out of the house. Long story short, he emigrates to Abyssinia. Then his father, he falls ill. He gets news that my father's fallen ill. His father was a very wealthy guy, man of status, and he was like a chief. He fell ill, and then he was so angry that people are accepting Islam. Even my son has accepted Islam. He was so angry against Islam and Muslims and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he said, or he made dua to his idols. He said, when I recover from this illness, when I get off this bed, I'm going to make even more effort, and I'm going to make sure that the Lord of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not worshipped in the valleys of Makkah anymore. Meaning, I'm going to eradicate Islam. Yeah? So when Muslims heard that, they were already being persecuted and everything, so it added to their angst and worries. Khalid bin Sa'id, when he heard that, he did some ibadah, he lifted his hands, made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, "Oh Allah, don't make my father get any better. Take him." And sure enough, his dad died. They sacrificed sons, fathers, family ties. Habiba radiallahu ta'ala meets her beloved father Abu Sufyan after such a long time, you know the story, and he comes to visit her, he hugs her, kisses her, she's so happy to, and then as he's going to sit down, what do? Where the mehman's going to sit down, we put a cushion there. If there's a Lego piece, we move that, yeah. If there's a toy, we move that and everything, yeah. Make sure everything, and we put if there's a covering over the sofa, we make sure it's like, and we brush it and everything. But instead, when he was about to sit down, she just pushed the couch aside, flipped it over. So he was shocked, and he said, "Perhaps the couch wasn't good enough for me, or I wasn't good enough for the couch," thinking that she'll say, "Yeah, a cat peed on it, or baby vomited or something. Yeah, it's not clean for you." That's a reply that he expected. Instead, what did she say? She said, "This is a couch, this is a bedding of Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And you, though you're my father, you're a mushrik, najis, unclean. How dare you sit? You're not worthy of sitting on this bed." Huh? So Sahaba Kiram, they were not like us. Abru kachorang. Yeah? About COVID, 2021, people say it was a year of the illness. I say it was a year of the acid test of Imaan. Our elders in Tabligh since day one have been saying, "Allah ko bolo, Allah ko bolo, Allah, 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 Allah hi karta hai, Allah hi se hota hai, Allah hi karta hai, Allah hi karega." Yeah, speak about Allah, 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 Allah. Even back then, 100 years ago, when Maulana Ilyas Sahib started the effort, at that time, this approach seemed outdated and simplistic. because at that time India was in turmoil just before the Second World War, yeah, and it was under occupation and everything. So people were setting up institutes and Muslim universities and going into politics and all sorts of stuff. And then one Ilyas Sahib comes along with this simplistic talk about Allah, give dawat. People just poo-pooed it. They said, come on. Yeah? And even today, more so today, people think, have you not got another kitab? Have you not got another bayan? Is it only 6 points? After 100 years, have you not progressed on to quality number 8, 9, 10, 11? Yeah? Have you not? Yeah? At that time, it seemed outdated. So now is even more, and people are like criticizing. Umar Sahab, kaisi dakyanusi batein karte hai? What kind of, Greek philosophical talk is this? Outdated. Yeah? Gisi pisi batein. Yeah? Worn, boring, outdated talks. Yeah? People have allegedly stepped on the moon, and you're still talking and encouraging how we should step into the toilet. Yeah? You're talking about that, and people are advanced. Yeah? Allah say by Allah, Allah, Allah. Talk about Allah, hear about Allah constantly, again and again and again, so that it comes into your heart. Like somebody said, that remind your heart about Allah so much that eventually your heart will remind you of Allah. Somebody complained to an elder, he said, how can I have khushu khudu and concentration in my namaz? How can I remember Allah? I think of everything but I can't think of Allah. He said, think of Allah outside your namaz, remind your heart outside of namaz by doing plenty of zikr of Allah, then in your namaz your heart will remind you of Allah. So the basic message basic premise of tabligh has always been by Allah, 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 Allah. Yeah? Allah hi se hota hai. And when we were kids, our parents' generation, they were not so pious, yes, on the face of it. Like your granddad, all of us, your granddad, our granddads, if you pick out his picture from when he was your age, he looks like a Bollywood star, innit? He'd have a cigarette in his mouth, and he never worked in an office. He's got suit and tie, sitting there like that, yeah? And then namaz was hit and miss, yes? Illa mashallah. But generally that's how it was. But with that generation, now to have a beard is the norm. It's fashionable. If a Muslim goes and opens a restaurant or a takeaway on Derby Street, he knows that in order to win the trust of the customers, one of the things besides the HMC and whatever, he's going to have a beard. People will trust a bearded person now. It's become the norm. Back then it was the exception. Yes? Now it's become fashionable. A woman, now, even if she doesn't pray namaz or anything, but she'll still wear a scarf. Otherwise people think, oh, she's, yeah. A guy, he might be a gambler, he might be a drinker, but he'll have a beard. He'll wear a jubba. Yeah. That's how he's become now. But at that time, although practice-wise they were less, but they were ingrained, their Imaan was ingrained in their hearts. If you could hear them speaking back in those days, you fell down, you went to your mum, kid falls down now, goes to him, oh mum, oh get the plasters, oh get the first aid box, oh call the doctor. In those days, chalo, Allah rukar se. Something broke, mom, chalo, Allah won't se. Problem happened, mara Allah se. Kaso wonder na Allah se. That was general speak. And as I always say now, if you are not going in Jamaat and joining in Jamaati Amal, and if you're not going to a Buzurug or going to a weekly, like a Sirat or something, session with an Alim, or you're not studying in a good madrasa, then when was the last time you spoke about Allah or you heard about Allah? It's not on our tongues. On our tongues is money, 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 gourmet burgers, milkshakes, nihari, paya, ha ha, he, wedding, holidays. That's all it is. And so the detrimental effect of that has become, that was exposed, that the COVID years, I say they were the Imaan years, Imaan testing years. Why? Because people who I consider more pious than me, more practicing than me, first Saf Musallis, I heard the most vulgar things coming out of their mouths. Huh? They are doing, and that is doing, and this government is doing, and he did, and she did, and some bat soup, and this and that, and everything. And you think, Ya Allah, it's an illness. Yes? And what did Allah say about illness? وَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينَ. Yes? Illness comes from Allah. Shifa is in the hands of Allah. When we were kids, when our mothers, Allah Ta'ala bless them, grant them Jannah, when they used to give us dawa, they used to always make us pray. We didn't know what the heck they were saying. Allahu Shafi'u, Allahu Kafi'u. Yeah? Allahu Shafi. In India, Pakistan, in the Hakim, the old days Hakims, when we were studying, when you went to a Hakim, when they wrote a prescription, the first thing they'd write on there is, Huwa Shafi. He is the curer. Yeah? Now, people were not even attributing this illness to Allah. They were attributing an illness to a telephone pole. 5G and 4G and whatever, crazy stuff. You know what I mean? And you think, whoa. That might be a means, yeah? I'm not completely dismissing your theories, but where does Allah come into the equation? And this is how it became. Even now, look, you know, the Christians in America, they're quite religious compared to Christians in other places, yeah? But even now, you see, when there's disasters in the world, what do they say? Yeah? Except very few. Sometimes you see it in the papers and stuff, they'll say it was a flood of biblical proportions. That means they're making reference of Nuh alayhi salam's Qawm and the flood that came upon those people. Biblical proportions, flood of biblical. That's the only reference they make to it. Yeah. Otherwise, if you look, anytime there's a disaster, you read the comments. Even practicing Christians, Jews, and any other religion, you know, they'll say global warming. Yeah. Or this agenda and that and this and what's up. The guy goes to me, what's up? Earthquake hits somewhere. What's up? They did it. I said, you're giving them too much credit. He said, no, they did it. I said, bhai, where's Allah in all of this? No, what's up? They got this thing and that. I said, bhai, even if that is true, even if it is true, behind all of that, Hafiz Abdul Rahman slaps me. Yes? And he breaks my tooth. A person of weak Iman, he'll say, he hit me. A person of strong Iman will say, bhai, Allah got me. Yeah? Used him for something that I did. Like the elders used to give an example. A person's hitting a dog. Yeah? So the dog will not go for the stick, try to grab the stick. The dog will go and bite the man. Why? Because he knows that it's not the stick that's hitting me, it's the man yielding the stick. Yeah? So behind everything is Allah. Nothing happens. A leaf cannot fall from a tree without the will of Allah. How can an earthquake happen without the will of Allah? And if your theories are correct that, okay, they're doing and they're making it rain, they're making it flood, they're making all this and that, yeah, which, you know, you're giving them too much credit anyway. But even if that is true, how are they doing that? Allah is allowing them. Nothing happens without the will of Allah. Allah does everything in the world. Does that mean Allah Ta'ala does evil, misleads? So no, Allah Ta'ala doesn't mislead. Shaitan does it. But Shaitan does it when Allah allows him to. وَمَنْ يَعْشُ عَنْ ذِكْرِ الرَّحْمَنِ نُقَيِّدْ لَهُ شَيْطَانًا فَهُوَ لَهُ قَرِينٌ. Isn't it? Surah, anyway, Surah 25th, yeah? وَمَنْ يَعْشُ عَنْ ذِكْرِ الرَّحْمَنِ. Whoever turns away from the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Surah Zukhruf. Yes? Allah Ta'ala appoints a shaitan that becomes his best buddy and he leads him astray. He asked for it. Allah Ta'ala then unleashed shaitan. Shaitan was waiting for the green light. Allah Ta'ala said, ja. Shaitan cannot mislead. Somebody cannot do evil without the will of Allah. Allah has his reasons why he allows these things to happen. Somebody can't oppress another person without the ijazat of Allah. Someone can't harm anyone without the will of Allah. People who are harming other people, killing other people, they're destroying the akhirat. Allah's allowing it to happen. If He doesn't want it to happen, He won't let it happen. Like Hafiz Ab just gave the example, Ibrahim alayhi salam thrown in the fire, but Allah Ta'ala didn't want it to happen and didn't want him to perish. So all of them got together, they couldn't harm him. But if on that occasion Allah Ta'ala wanted him to Not because he was a bad man, but because Allah decided. Does that mean Zakaria alayhi salam was a bad person? Huh? He got cut in two. Zakaria alayhi salam, na'uzubillah, is unsuccessful, and Ibrahim alayhi salam was closer to Allah, is successful. No. Both were very dear to Allah. Both are successful. Both are men of God, men of Allah. But it was the will of Allah that Ibrahim alayhi salam would not burn. And it was the will of Allah that Zakaria alayhi salam should attain martyrdom. So Allah makes everything happen. But now everyone, in everything. And now Allah maaf kare. Even now, you hear Muslims saying that as well. The non-Muslims have been saying it for quite some time. They don't think, oh, this flood has come, this tornado has come, is because of our sins. Turn back to God. You get sometimes comments, yeah, Jesus is coming, turn to Jesus and all that, yeah? You get sometimes, very few. Yeah? But even now, Muslims, they say, global warming. One guy proper went on about cloud seeding and harp, and they're trying to educate me. I'm there looking at him, yawning with my eyes. And then he goes, they're doing this and they're doing that. They're all seeing, all hearing, all knowing, all wise. I'm thinking, Ya Allah, I heard that in Tabligh from day one. Allah is all seeing, all hearing, all knowing, all wise. No one else. Yeah? That means that you made somebody else your khuda in your heart. You're influenced by someone else. Your rang is kacha. Huh? Despite your namaz and your umrahs and your beard and everything, undirty, khoklu. Allahu Akbar. So he went on like this, and he goes, because they're preparing the ground for Dajjal to come and all this sort of stuff. So after I heard him, I said, listen, I agree with only one of your statements. And that is that the ground for Dajjal is being prepared. Why? Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam informed us. Yeah? But Allah is letting this happen, that's why it's happening. Yeah? Sometimes the enemies of Islam or somebody evil is doing things and they think this is going according to our plans. But they don't know that behind them, وَفَوْقَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ اللَّهُ فَوْقَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ. Yeah? And وَفَوْقَ كُلَّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. Allah is behind everyone. Yes? Allah is on top of everyone's game. So somebody is going on long according to their plans, thinking, yeah, we got it all right, we got it. Yeah? But Allah is using them. Like Fir'aun. When Fir'aun went out, it was not possible. Allah Ta'ala had told Musa alayhi salam 40 years ago that your dua has been accepted. You guys carry on doing the good. Your dua has been accepted. I'm going to deal with Fir'aun. 40 years after that, it happened. And when Fir'aun came out with his chariots and his horses and his army, he is thinking, this is a good day. This is my plan. I'm going to crush them. I'm going to kill them. I'm going to capture them. How dare they? It was all according to his plan. Until when he went down, then he realized, Allah, somebody has just put a spanner in the works. Right up to the last moment. Yeah? I'll give you another example. When Islam started spreading, people started accepting Islam. Umayyah bin Khalf, Utbah, Shayba, Abu Jahl, Abu Lahab, their blood pressure was off the charts. Yeah? They were crazy. They lost their sleep. They just couldn't take it. That's why they tortured them and punished them, I think, persecuted them. Then the Muslims escaped. So now their blood pressure is even higher. Yes? Then a year or so later, they find out that Allah, we sent a caravan with our merchandise to Syria. The caravan was returning with loads of our gold and merchandise and riches, and the Muslims tried to rob us. How dare they? Now they were off the charts completely. They were so angry. Then they said, right, how dare they? But then they said, no, it's okay. We're in control here. Yeah? Our caravan has arrived, so the Muslims have failed. Let's teach them a lesson. So now Abu Jahl stirred the men up, and they went. And they were so confident. They knew they weren't going for a battle. They were going to annihilate. Because they knew that the Muslims weren't ready for battle, and they're not that much in number. They were only going after a caravan. They think they're going to find a caravan. They're going to find an army, 1,000 strong. And they were so confident that we're going to win. They took their songstresses and girls, dancing girls and all that along. And they went. Yes? Now all of this was according to Abu Jahal's and the Mushrikeen's plans. Everyone, right up to the last moment. Right? Until when the skies opened, the clouds ripped, and they saw Jibreel Islam and the angels coming down. They said, "Oh, Bapre Bapala." That's when their plans went to fail. Yeah, but it was all according to their plans. But look at the hikmat of Allah. It was never going to happen that the big chiefs of Makkah come out of Makkah to be slaughtered. It was never going to happen. No country does that. Yeah, no army does that. They don't send all the men in. Yeah, they'll send one or two elite. You don't want to send them all in one day, isn't it? Just in case. So it was never going to happen. According to logic, it was never going to happen that Abu Jahal, Utbah, Shayba, and Umayyah bin Khalaf, all the big dudes. Yes? But Allah made circumstances work out in such a way the caravan escaped that they just thought, okay, we're just going to hammer them. We're just going to kill them. Chalo! But that's chalo. And they went out. And when the spy came back with intelligence and reported to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Who is it?" So he counted the man that he'd seen, spy. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to the Sahaba Kiram, "Akbadu Makkah, Makkah has thrown out the pieces of its liver, of his heart, in front of you. Makkah has thrown out the pieces of his heart, of her heart to you." Meaning, here they are on a plate now, all for the taking. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was happy. They've come for their slaughter. But all of that was according to their plan, right to the last moment. And there were certain people like Umayyah bin Khalaf who had premonitions, who had inklings that this is not going to end well. Abu Jahl and all these guys, they thought, of course it is. We got all the weaponry. We've been preparing for battle. They've not even been preparing for battle. And we've got so much. And our caravans just arrived. So we've got even more money, even more ammunition. Yeah. So we're going to wipe them out, man. Yeah. But certain people saw dreams. Certain slaves saw a dream and came and told their master, okay, please, one slave, I think Umayyah's slave, he begged him, he said, please don't go. So he said, okay, I'm not going. That's why, some of them tried to skive off. But Abu Jahl came along and said, chalo. He forced them. Umayyah bin Khalaf did not want to go. He knew, just as in the Battle of Uhud, who was it? Ubay bin Khalaf. Ubay bin Khalaf, who got killed by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with the spear. He knew. He said it. He said, I knew that he was going to kill me. Yeah? But when Allah plans something, his death takes the person there. And so that's exactly what happened. They went, and Allah Ta'ala presented this golden opportunity to Muslims. Everything was according to the plan of the Mushrikeen until boom. And then Allah Ta'ala proved that He is in control. Allah Ta'ala is above everything. So unfortunately now, brothers, where our kacha rang is being exposed on these occasions, instead of talking about Allah, turning to Allah, in the COVID years, one Maulvi Sahib, Bichara, he made a clip saying, "Bhai, you're in your houses hammering box sets and raising the shares of a certain company by viewing so much." Instead, you should be now, instead of talking about this stuff and talking about your conspiracy theories and everything, you should now be hammering the musalla, turning to Allah. These halat are from Allah, bimari is from Allah, shifa is from Allah. Maulvi Sahib made a clip because he got sick and tired of everyone talking about it in this manner, like non-Muslims. They are doing and that is doing, and there's a government conspiracy. So he made a clip, and Maulvi Sahib got slaughtered by people, jahils, as in educated jahils, with a suit and tie, doctor and some teacher and accountant and everything. They said, no, Maulvi Sahib, you've got to be educated, you got to know about these things, you got to tell your kids about these things and everything. But there's a different time for that. Right now, it needs to be Allah. Bring it out again in your hearts. But people just slaughtered them. Maulvi Sahib tried to explain to a few people, Maulvi Sahib then he told a few people, he said, you know what it is? This situation now reminds me of when Fir'aun came after the Bani Israel. Bani Israel were the Muslims of the day. That's why Allah Ta'ala has narrated the story of Musa alayhi salam and Bani Israel so much, because we've got so much comparison with them. So much in common with them. They were Muslims of the day. They were praying their namaz and everything, but they were kacharang. Their iman was corrupt in their hearts. So what happened is when Allah had said, I'm going to do away with Fir'aun, and when he did away with Fir'aun, and Musa alayhi salam went and told them, they said, nah bhai, you're not tired ni. Not in Gujarati obviously. You're not tired ni. Banat nahi sake. He can't have died. So why not? He's a God. Allah Akbar, you clowns. How can you say he's a God? There's only one Allah. They said, no, he can't die. Yeah, we don't worship him, but he was God. You're giving him too much credit. You're giving him too much credit. Musa alayhi salam had to ask Allah to show them the body. The river spat out the body. Then Musa alayhi salam took the people and said, look, I'll show you his body. Even then they wouldn't go close. And Musa alayhi salam had to encourage them, go closer, he's dead. They went with sticks and they prodded him, long sticks. He said, why are you doing that? He said, he's going to spring up any moment now because he can't die. He's immortal. He's a God. And he's going to eat us all up. He's going to blast us all. Lightning from his eyes. Fireballs from his mouth. Kind of thing. Then he said that, but you know what I mean? And then, when they crossed the river, what happened? They found a people who were worshipping idols. Ya Musa ja'al lana ilahan kama lahum aliha. These Muslims, when they saw a people worshipping idols, because the idols were in the heart, Fir'aun's idol was in their heart. Yes? So when that was eradicated, they were still, their hearts were imbued by the batil. What did they say to these Muslims? What did they say to Musa alayhi salam? What kind of people were they? They said, oh Musa, why don't you make us, why don't you make us some idols like they have? Musa alayhi salam said, you people, you giants, crazy people, what are you doing? And despite all of that, Musa alayhi salam was crying and begging them and explaining to them. What happened? Eventually, they made the calf into a god. And they still went into that worship. Isn't it? Why? Because the hearts. This is why our elders have said from day one, by work on your heart. Apna rang, pakka karo, Imaan. It's not enough to be praying namaz and going umrah and ibadat and everything. Like I said, it's become the norm now. But how entrenched are we in our Imaan? That gets revealed on sales days. And holidays and all this, on these occasions. When the Iman is tested, then we fail. This is why going out in the path of Allah is so important. So Allah Ta'ala grant me and all of us tawfiq. There's a lot of food for thought for us. And that's why Rasulullah has warned about Fir'aun, about Dajjal, because what will Dajjal do? Dajjal won't come and kill people. He said he's the biggest sharru fitnatin yuntazar, the worst fitna. Why is he the worst fitna? Because he's going to kill millions of people? No. He's the worst fitna because the Dajjal will not come and just kill people. More than that, he will snatch people's iman away. That's what Rasulullah warned about. And he said every prophet warned about. And that's the times we're living in now. People's iman in their hearts, despite the outward appearance and everything, iman is very kacha. Refer to that story that I said at the beginning, that poor body sahib. Kacharang, what happens? It fails you. This is why tabligh is so important. So inshallah after namaz there'll be another talk. Brothers request to share and inshallah get other brothers.